And welcome back. It is Ray Michaels here, Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. We're here with the one, the only, Stephen Davis, MAGA Hulk.
Let's go.
Whoa, man. Have you grown? I think you have. You've been
I'm trying
working
to.
out?
I'm trying here and there. I skip a couple of 5, 2, 3 days or so.
I wonder, how much do you eat?
All of it.
Really?
I eat all of it. Now I'm trying to cut back, right? Due to me getting older, right? I got to focus on the heart health.
Yeah,
now,
what are you, like 20 years old?
Yeah, we'll go with that. 20 plus 20. How about that?
No, it's great. Now, you're traveling a lot now.
Yes, sir.
Where have you been? Mostly college campuses or?
Mostly college campuses for Turning Point USA. Been going all over, trying to wake up people as much as possible, especially these kids, these college kids who think they know it all.
Boy, yeah, they know everything.
They know everything. Who are? And that's the thing. They always say, "Have you gone to college? Where's your degree? Where's your PhD?" It's like I don't have to have a PhD to understand facts, stats, and data. I don't have to have a PhD to be able to think with common sense and be able to have critical thinking skills. Because it seems like you, Mr. PhD, Mr. Master's degree, doesn't have the very basics of critical thinking that everybody else seems to have who doesn't have that college degree.
He may not even have a Fahrenheit degree.
Not even that, or pulse. Goodness gracious.
So you go on these college campuses. Now, has anybody ever challenged you? I mean, because you're a big guy. Anybody ever come up and just try to, because you know how the male testosterone and everything. Did they ever try to, challenge you?
They do in groups. They
Do
do in groups, yes. I remember I think it was 2022 when I was at UC Davis. And that is a wild place. I thought Berkeley was worse, but UC Davis by far is worse than.
Just right outside of SAC,
yes,
right?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And it was a big hullabaloo when it had a bunch of individuals, bunch of leftists, bunch of Antifa who stormed the gate, stormed the event that we were holding my speech in. And this is a speech that hasn't even gotten started. They were banging the guardrails up against the window, trying to break it down so they can get in and accost all the people inside.
Gosh.
It was unbelievable. It was a 100-person brawl outside of the speech. The speech got canceled, right? The police got called. It was a whole thing. So when they're in groups, they're like hyenas.
Right.
When they're in their little pack, then they want to attack. That's the only time they do. But all it takes is a couple of lions to stand up and stand their ground, and they'll disperse.
Wow. Wow. Now, what are you finding most recently? Because you've been doing this now for many, many years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Have you noticed a paradigm shift in the colleges? Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? What's the heartbeat there?
Honestly, I would love to say that they're getting better. And in some places they have. In some ways they have. There's more patriotic individuals being more outspoken, and I love to see that. However, they are still leftist institutions through and through. There's a lot of individuals out here who, again, think they know it all, and you can't tell them anything. You can't even disagree. How dare you even have an alternative idea or fact that goes against my narrative, right? So these are the type of individuals that we're trying to really red pill, and I think the efforts have been slow, but they are steady and consistent. And when it comes to this fight, this is a generational fight. This is going to take a while, right? So I know that the fight won't be won overnight, but we are making inroads. And I think maybe within 30 or 40 or 50 years, maybe in a generation or so, we can probably see some substantial change.
Well, they always say, how do you eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time.
There it is.
If you take baby steps, you go one. It's a victory.
Yes, sir.
It's a victory. Now, a lot of people, I just interviewed a girl who told us about the indoctrination, the socialist viewpoints that they're starting now in kindergarten.
Yes.
So by the time they get to the college campuses, that is the final nail in the coffin. They've been trained for 12 years before they even get there. And now you're trying to unwind 12 years of indoctrination. Luckily, and that was the only thing good that came out of the pandemic, was that the parents saw what was being taught. And now we're trying to fundamentally change the school board system and to bring it out. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's one thing that I'm so glad people have gotten ensconced in. They mostly focused on the presidential race. They would always just focus on the presidential, federal politics, what's going on in the federal government. but there's state and local governments that you have to pay attention to, right? And oftentimes it has more of an impact on you than
Yeah.
on the federal apparatus. So the very fact that people are getting ensconced and paying attention to their school boards, right, the state house and the state assembly and the things of this nature, it just goes to show how much America has been waking up, and I love to see it. This is how we actually have an impact when it comes to our communities, right? We always point at the president, but there are governors, there are mayors, there are city council.
And they affect your life a lot
You
more
better believe it.
than the decisions of the president.
You got
for sure.
it.
All right, give me a crazy story. Recent
goodness.
crazy story.
Oh my. Okay, so I was in Brooklyn. I was in downtown Brooklyn, and I was having a very spirited debate with this guy by the name of Smart. Right?
Smart.
He went by the name of Smart. Okay, that's what he was quote unquote known by, a black guy, and he was just espousing every racial ideology, every racism that can come out of his mouth. He was very angry, right? You could tell that there was some past trauma in his life,
Right.
or at least that he was indoctrinated into this, because obviously people are not, racism is not, something that's just, inherent. It is learned, it is taught. So I was having this debate outside in the middle of downtown Brooklyn, and this man was very unhinged. He was very upset that I didn't side with him. He was very upset that, called me all the names, all the coons, all the Uncle Toms, right?
How dare you be black?
How dare I be black and have an alternative way of looking at life? And I was trying to explain to them, like, you're looking at everything through a lens of race in which all you see are power structures,
Right.
namely systemic racism and white privilege, these two things, these two big boogeymen out there, and what you think that this has and continues to order society. I'm looking at everything by taking off my glasses, my racial glasses, my racial lens, and I'm looking at world through the perception of reality, okay?
Yeah.
I'm living in reality, and I'm trying to get you to take off your glasses, your racial lens, your racial glasses, so you can see reality as it is instead of this lens that you're looking at everything. Because if
Right.
you're looking at everything through a lens of race, guess what you're going to see? Race
Yeah.
and everything. So it was a very spirited debate. He got very angry, unhinged, and he was just making an entire scene. People were looking at it. And it's funny because the perception was this guy is unhinged.
Right.
His name is Smart now. His name is Smart. So everyone's looking at this guy like, wow, he is really unhinged. And here I am just being quiet, smiling, and just trying to have a conversation with them. So for those of y'all out there who are having these debates, you have to understand people are watching the debate take place. You keep your cool, you be cool, calm,
Right.
and collect, be
Right.
civil, because just by doing that, people look at you as a more reasonable individual,
Right.
and they look at the other person as an unhinged lunatic, and that's exactly what happened. It was awesome.
How did it end? How
It
did it?
ended. You know what? It was once he calmed down, we were able to have finish the substantive conversation or debate, and there was a lot of stuff we actually agreed on.
Wow.
But it's just a matter of getting through the hubris. It's a matter of getting through the emotions to get to what we actually believe on and what we actually believe in. And if we can just do that as human beings, because I guarantee you with most individuals that you talk with or have a debate with, even some of these leftists, I mean, this happened all the times when I was debating BLMers. We would agree with about 65% of the things
Right.
out there.
Right.
It was the 35, the 25, I'd say 65 to 75% of the things we agree in. It's the 25 and the 35% that they like to highlight. But if we just come together on the 65 on the majority, we would be able to have substantive conversations, substantive debates.
Yeah, and why can't you agree to disagree?
Boom,
I mean, really.
boom. It's that simple. I wish we can get back to that. It's just understanding.
And have a beer with somebody afterwards. Let's have a lively debate and then set it aside.
Sure.
People for some reason, if you don't agree 100% with me, then we can't be friends.
That's it.
And I asked him, I said, are you married? Yes. Do you agree with your spouse 100% of the time? They said no. I said, well, I guess you got to get a divorce.
Guess so. I guess so. That's the way.
how it
That's the way of thinking, right? And that's funny because I often tell people, like, even when it comes to President Trump, I don't agree with him on 100% of the things he said. I don't agree with my wife on 100% of the things that she says, right? But at the end of the day, we're together because we fundamentally agree on everything else, right? And we know we're good for each other and all that sort of thing. So when it comes to people like President Trump or other politicians, they're good for the country. Their ultimate good is for the benefit of the people, and we have to focus on that instead of the mean tweets.
Yeah. All right. So I want to get your thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
So President Trump is reaching over the aisle,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Kennedy.
Sure.
Do you think he agrees with him on 100% of the
Not
things?
at all.
No, but he put him in a position that he wants him to stay in that lane. I don't think, as a Health and Human Services, if he oversees this, if he's accepted, he doesn't care about his Second Amendment opinion.
Right.
Tulsi Gabbard, right? Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yes.
Stay in your lane.
Sure.
I like what you're saying on that particular thing. I don't have to agree with you 100%. But Donald J. Trump is showing everyone this is how we're supposed to get along.
Right.
And everybody says that he's the bad guy for doing what they can't do.
Right.
What say you?
This, it's interesting because this is actual diversity, right? This is not weaponized diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is actual diversity. He's showcasing that there are a diversity of thought, right? And in some cases, diversity is good when it comes to a diversity and thought. As long as you're moving to the right direction, okay? Because I don't want diverse thought that's going to move us backwards.
Right.
I want diversity of thought that's going to move us to a future that is beautiful and that's going to be beneficial for the American people. And that is what he's setting up. He's setting up cabinet positions of people who can specialize in that field. I may not agree with you on everything else, but in this field, I am 100% on board with what it is that you have to say and what it is that you espouse and what it is that you want to do.
Wow.
So I'm going to be on board with this thing. I'm going to be on board with you on this thing. And that's what the coalition that he's setting up. And you can't tell me that this is not a diverse coalition. The people who are Democrats, right? There are people who we wouldn't necessarily agree with anything else. But with RFK, I agree with him 100% when it comes to health. I don't really agree with him on a lot of other things, but when it comes to health, I'm all for the MAGA movement.
All right. Would you work out with him?
I would. I would try to keep up with him. That's what I'll say with that.
Would you spot him? That's the
I would
question.
definitely spot the man.
All right.
Yes,
all
indeed.
right.
He deserves a spot.
And you know what? That's what's important. Always be ready to spot somebody. Oh, that's awesome, Stephen. Always great to have you here. This is MAGA Hulk. He's going to be around probably to your town. If you see him there, don't challenge him. But have a great, robust debate with him.
Yes.
And he will debate you till the cows come home.
You better believe it.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to see you, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah. All right, MAGA Hulk here, Stephen Davis. And thanks so much for joining us here. America Fest 2024. I can't believe it's another year goes by, but wow, 2025 is going to be exciting.
It's going to be amazing. A new chapter, and it's going to be very exciting to see what's going to transpire.
Absolutely. I'm Ray Michaels for Total News Nation and Grassroots 50. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.